Hello guys, welcome back, and in this lesson I want us to try and see how to use Chatgpt with Laravel. So let us dive in and see how to do this. So I'm going to my browser here. I did ask Chatgpt a small question here. Let me just scroll up and you see. So this is the question that I did ask Chatgpt. Example of using event and listeners in Laravel. So that is the question that I posed to Chatgpt, and this is the answer that it did give me. That sure, let us walk you through the example on how to use events and listeners in Laravel, all right? And it says step one, I define the event. So I'm gonna try and follow this procedure to just see if it will give me the right result in Laravel. So I'm going to let me just pull up my terminal here, open a new console here, all right? So I'm gonna paste this guy here. And if you have been following me through, I have a profile model that contains the name, email, and the age, and that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to fire an event when a profile has been created. So I'm going to call this event profile created, and then I'll also create a listeners. I'm just trying to follow this ChatGPT to see what it will give me. So it tells me that inside the app directory we have the event folder created. So if I go to, let me just do this, and then if I go to my code now, here inside the app we have the events here. Yeah, we have this file created here. All right, so let us go back and see. So that is the first step. The second step, it tells me to define an event listener. All right, to define an event listener. So I'm gonna copy this code. I'm going back to my terminal here. I'm pasting this guy, and I'm going to call this. Of course, our event was profile created. Profile created. So this will create a listener for this event that I've created here. So profile created is the event, and then I just send user notification. This is the listener name. So make listener name and the event for that listener. So that is what I'll do. I'll send a user notification. That is all right. So this, it tells me that it will create a folder called listeners inside our app, again our app folder. So if I go to my code here, if I go inside my app folder, you can see we have now listeners, and this listeners is as this file send user notification. So let us go back to ChatGPT. So if I scroll down, step 3 is to open the newly send user notification listener file and implement the logic inside the handle. All right, so it tells me to go inside the handle, this guy here, and implement the logic. So that is what I'm going to do. Let me just copy this logic of theirs, and I'll go inside this handle. I'll paste this guy here, and of course in our case we are using the profile created model. So in their case here, they're using user registered. In our case, we're using the profile created model of, all right. And so if I go back here, this profile created of course comes with an email. This profile created of course comes with an email, so that is enough. So this should be event like that. And so the user registration here, I'm going to put the event name like that, the event name. So you send user registration. So what I'm doing here, I'm simply sending an email. Let me actually do this just so that you can be able to understand. If you go back to our email controller, we have this email that I did use to send the mail. So it takes the email address here, and then it also takes the name of the person you're sending email to. That is why I've passed these guys here: email, email, and event name. So this event, when I call it, I'll pass the profile created object which will come with this email and this name. All right. So let us go back to ChatGPT. If you look here, I told that step 4 is to fire the event. So the way you fire the event is that you copy this guy. I'll just go back to our email controller. Then I'll highlight everything here and replace with this. And then here we are going to call our event, which is profile created. And then we are going to pass. Let us just create our profile guy here and just say create. And of course, it expect a name. This name will be my name, which is Kevin Amai. It expect an email. This email will be my email, Kevin Amai 20 at gmail.com, and it also expect age. This age I just put for now 45. That is okay. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to call this profile, and then like that, and then I'm going to pass here profile. So we need to change something a little bit here. If I go to the listeners, so here I'll be getting the profile, not just the name. I'll first get the profile, and then from the profile I'll get the email. Right? So event profile, like that. And then here also I'll do that. I'll just say profile, then I'll get the email. So that is fine. So now we are able to get the email and the name from our event, from the profile object that we have created. All right. So step 5 is to register the listener. So this tells me to go inside the app providers event service provider. So that is what I'm going. I'm going inside the app. Then I'm going inside the service provider. Where is service provider? Let's just close this. Inside the providers, then event service provider is here. Then I need to register my event here. All right. So in our case, in my listener there, I need to register my listener. In our case, for example, user registered event will call the send notification listener. All right. So I'm going just to copy this. It's just nearly the same thing, and then I'm going to paste this guy, but our event here is going to be profile created. All right, like that. And then you need to import also this listener. So that is fine, so we don't have any error. We are told this configuration tells Laravel that whenever a user registered event is fired, then I send user notification listener should handle that event. All right. That is how now whenever a user is registered, the user registered event will be fired, and the user notification listener will send a notification to the email address. Let us just confirm that everything is okay. So if I go to the events, inside the event, we have our event here. If I go to our controller, inside the HTTP controller, email controller, we have our event registered here with our profile. And if I go inside our email guy, our listener here, we have our mail being sent here. So I think I need to import this guy here. User registered notification. If I highlight here, it also tells me, okay, this should be, let me just check our mail class was test email. So this should not be, our mail class is test email, like that. If you guys check inside our listener here, I'm getting this error here, which is highlighting this profile. And that is because if you check ChatGPT, what I found out is that this ChatGPT, it leaves some key information out or the code that you require. So it's not something that you can just copy and just be able to run the code without any errors. Why? Because in our case here, for example, if I try to call this profile has not been initiated. So if I go to our guy email controller, as you can see down here, I'm passing profile to the profile created class. So if I go here, there's nowhere this profile has been initiated. So I need to declare this guy public so that it can be public available to other files. All right. So I need to say something like this and just say this guy, and then I'll just pass profile. This should be. I'll just type in this to be type profile, and then our guy now. This profile here, public profile, should be set to be the profile which I'll pass to the constructor here. All right. So it's say like this, and we are good. So now if I go back here, as you can see, this error is gone. And if I go back to our listener, where is our listener? Send notification here. You can see that also this error has gone. So basically, before I run this code and you see how the email will be sent, is that what I've found out is that a Chatgpt is not really like a replacement of the developer. Also, it won't give you like full information of what you require, especially when it comes to complex tasks. Let us say, for example, you want to implement a payment gateway. It will more like give you like instruction or just a guideline that will help you to achieve what you want, but not necessarily the actual code that you can simply implement and be able to do the task that you want. It provides like a more general information when it comes to coding. And if you do not have the key implementation skills and also good coding skills, then this information won't be of much use to you. All right. In other words, ChatGPT, when it comes to software engineering, it is much valuable to those people who are good in coding and those people who are taking time to understand the code, read the code. It becomes much valuable to them as compared to those people who just want to use it to solve their issues. All right. So I'm going to run this code and then you can see if this will be successful. And so if I run this code, I've just gone to this route that points to the controller. If I run this code and just come to my email, here is the email that has come from the test. So the event of course works and also the listener of course works. I just wanted to show you how to implement event listeners and how ChatGPT can be of help, and I hope you have been able to learn something. Generally, I'm not a huge fan of events since many of the things that event is required to do, you can just do them manually without necessarily implementing an event and a listener. I think events, they are usually good when it comes to system events, things that you cannot really have like a manual control over them. All right, for example, if something has been deleted and you want to know if this thing was deleted, it might be hard tracking something of that sort. All right, so you will put something like an event to just to continuously listen to the database, and when something has been deleted, then you can fire an event. All right, or when a record has been updated, then you can fire an event. Maybe a staff has updated a record, something of that sort, then you can fire an event. All right, so events, they are more used to manage system task or system operation rather than the manual operation. And many a times when you're working with manual operation, I think it is better to use queues for much complex operation as compared to event. So that is it, guys. I hope you have learned how to use ChatGPT and how you have learned how to implement event and listeners. And until we meet again, bye bye.